Okay, we are recording.
Why am I the only one I see on the big screen? That's what's weird.
Because you're probably on speaker view. So if I click speaker view, I see you on the. For some reason, I see you on the big screen. And if you click gallery view, it will show all three of us equally.
Okay. Weird.
Yeah. But anyhow, before we launch into stuff, and it's gonna be slower today. I'll be able to take my time, and the especially for this, for some reason, we're doing Earth this week. It surprised me that it was the amount of stuff that it was different from what I was expecting. And there was one key piece of information that came through that I imagine the two of you actually know, but it's a truth about something I can't wait to share. I might just go ahead and say
I love truths.
I think I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now, because then I would like to hear how you both are processing. But when I started to, get all the download information for what we're going to look at today, I didn't realize as I was going through it that really we are human beings. Instead of being created in God's image, we're actually created in the earth's image. It's just different from, like our shape is different, but what we do and how we are put together energetically is like the earth. So I'm really excited to share with you today all the ways that we are like the earth. It's going to be fun. So as far as that first week, I am just wondering how you're doing with it, if you have gotten any of your own information about things that we talked about, maybe expanding on the things that I shared. Just curious.
I have well, one, it has been pouring until today. I mean, like, I know that y'all would probably like some of my rain, but I have been we're having some flash floods, actually. Luckily, I'm not in a flood zone, but so I haven't gotten out much, a lot of the, you had talked about the donut economics before, and I'd actually gotten the book and read lots of it, so that wasn't new for me. So I'm feeling pretty comfortable with what we've covered so far, and I'm really looking forward to, you're going to go over the different elements, kind of?
Yeah, the elements of the
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, now that we've laid the foundation for how this happened, now we get to dive into those elements. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Looking forward to that.
Yeah. What about you, Julie? Anything to report back?
Not a whole lot. I haven't been out either. It's been really cold and damp and kind of snowy and icy, and I did go for a walk this morning, so that was nice. Not much. I did think again about when you did the picture of the cosmos and us being the center of the universe. That kind of floated up in my mind again. I just yeah, it's a lot of information. I think some of it I need to sit with and kind of review and probably watch stuff again.
Yeah.
More so probably the second one than the first.
Yeah, the second one was kind of a whirlwind, and I even cut out stuff
Yeah,
so that I would have enough time.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I'm going to go ahead and screen share so that we can get going.
So Julie, I notice you and I are bundled up and she's in a tank top. I have some
Yeah.
problems with that.
It's
The
hot.
least you can do is look like you're cold.
Yeah, really. It's about 33 degrees with nastiness outside here.
Ooh, I was just reading about plate tectonics.
Oh, cool. Well, we're gonna talk about plate tectonics.
Cool.
You're ahead of the game.
It was just an article that Leisha shared. It was
I didn't see that. I need to go back and find it. Was that in Daughters of Earth or was it on her regular page?
I don't know because
Yeah.
she just pops up and I half the time don't know from
Right.
where.
Mm.
It probably was Daughters of Earth because it was talking about the debate they're having about plate tectonics and how old it is and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
I,
Yeah.
I, I
I
can't even keep up with half the stuff that she puts. I haven't even seen the new person yet. I haven't even.
I can't keep up with all this stuff either. I follow my guidance these days for which thing do I need to like. Is it okay if I don't watch that thing?
Yeah.
What thing should I focus on? So, but anyhow, this is what we're going to talk about today as far as messages from the Earth. We are going to talk about plate tectonics, and then we're going to talk about the mineral structures. There are crystalline structures, and then there are amorphous mineral structures. So, meaning you have a nice lattice framework, and then in some, it's just like this mishmash of stuff. And we'll talk about how that happens and what those things mean. And then, of course, the life in the soil, which is very near and dear to me, has important messages for us too. So there we go. Okay, so this is my little drawing of a cross section of the Earth, and this is it's kind of generic, but this is what is happening in the Pacific Ocean, basically. So this, through the center here in the Pacific Ocean, there's a place where molten lava bubbles up, and that's why we have Hawaii. It's completely created from the lava bubbling up and oozing out and creating islands. Those volcanoes there are releasing pressure from these convection cells. So the way this works, we'll just start at the core. So this is of course, the heat center. This is the place where it's molten. That actually drives heat up through the various levels and sections. So the heat, this is a convection cell here in the mantle of the Earth, and the heat moves up this way, brings molten stuff with it, slides this direction. It flows like a river. It bubbles up and it flows like a river until it hits a continent on one side or another. And what happens is as it flows, it cools and you get the ocean floor. So this black part here, this is the ocean floor. This actually represents, this is volcano action right here. So places like in the sea areas where there used to be some activity, and Mount St. Helens definitely is alive, even though she hasn't erupted in a few decades. This drives blasting out through the mountains that are here. So what happens is as it flows this direction, it hits the continent. So this black material, it's made of really heavy, dense minerals, and it floats just fine until it hits the continent, which is lighter than it is. So it's not like it's going to slide up and over the continent. When it hits it, it's going to fall underneath it. And what's happening on this side as it falls underneath, it gets hot again. So up here, it's cooled off and makes the ocean floor. And then when it comes back down, it gets hot again. And it makes it molten again, which drives it up to create these volcanoes and mountain ranges. On this side, what it's showing is that there's pressure. There's pressure happening from the ocean plate onto the continental plate. So that pressure pushes against the continent right before it begins to drop back down in right here as these arrows go. And that makes mountains. So those are the two ways that you make mountains. So what's happening at these zones here, those are places where you have earthquakes, because you've got two plates either sliding back and forth across each other, because the plates are moving. Not only are they moving out and running into each other, they're floating around. So the continental plate where I am here in California is slowly moving northwest. So that creates this slide, and that's why we have an earthquake zone here. So what happens too at those zones is you have all of this heat and pressure. And the heat and pressure is what makes the amorphous mineral structure. So when something comes up out of the earth, when these minerals come up out of the earth and they cool slowly, they become ordered. And when everything comes back and squishes together, slides together, it creates all this friction, and you have pressure and you have heat. And when that happens, it makes those rocks, those minerals that were nice and ordered, it makes them dissolve in a way. It's kind of like what ice does, and it turns into something amorphous. Instead of, you have a nice ice cube structure or whatever you froze the water in, it has structure, but then it dissolves. That's what happens to the minerals, and you get this crazy unstructured rock. So like with glass, when you break glass, it has that weird wavy pattern in it. That's what an amorphous mineral looks like. Other minerals, when you break them, the ones that actually have structure, you can see their structure when they break. It'll look like a square, or it'll look like a rhomboid. Depending on what it's made out of, it has a particular structure. So I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but I just want you to know that this is how it happens in these areas. And since I'll save the rest for when we get to those slides, because I think I've talked about everything here that I wanted to be clear on as far as plate tectonics. Do you have any questions on that? Nope. No questions.
I have some.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, Marty.
First.
I had some questions about Iceland, but they may be answered later, so I'm going to save them.
Okay. Okay. We'll see. So what the plate tectonics is showing us is that there is this birth and rebirth transformation that's constantly happening. And when when something happens on the planet that causes a scar for it, then these things get covered up. They heal. Erosion comes down on top of them. It happens to ravines or cities or places where where you've had meteorites hit. The craters eventually fill in. It's really slow. I mean, geologic time is really slow, but these things heal. And it's not only healing, I'm going to move you guys so I can see everything. It's not only healing physical scars, but there are mental and emotional scars that are healed by doing that. And what she's showing us is that we as human beings and created in her image, we are meant to do that too. And there are solutions that could be surprising that you don't know are there until you begin to look, or when things start to like we have all of these various diseases that are coming up. Like it seems like everybody I know now has Lyme disease, and then we're told there's no cure for it. But I happen to know somebody who did cure herself from Lyme disease, and it's a matter of not taking no for an answer with that, because what the earth is showing us is there's a way. When there are new pollutants for the earth, solutions appear. So for instance, with the petroleum spills in the Gulf, now they're noticing that there's some bacteria now that comes in and eats that. Heavy metals and radiation can be taken up by mushrooms. They clean the earth. So there are always these crazy solutions that we don't even know about until we start to look. So the earth is showing us how to be. If she can heal, we can heal. And just like her, we're replacing ourselves all the time. So what I have on me for skin now isn't what I had 10 years ago. Everything has been replaced. And when we energetically upgrade, then so does our physical body, but then also so does our mental, emotional, and spiritual body. And that's what happens with the earth. Okay, just want to make sure I don't forget something. I've got my notes here. So any questions on that? Haven't talked.
Other than that being pretty cool when you think about it.
Yeah, right? I mean, yeah. I firmly believe that she's showing us how we can, recycle our own selves and come through things so that we are, we're new and fresh, and we can heal from whatever toxins we've experienced or whatever diseases we have created the environment to embody. We can uncreate those things. Okay. So I've already said a lot about, where the crystal shapes come from. And this is just so you can see, what they look like. So these are the basic shapes. Right now, unless we decided to dive into what the shapes mean, that's not, something that we can go into in an hour. The important thing to remember about these is that they exist. They all fit within the Earth's grid, and they represent, if you've ever seen any video on the flower of life, if you look at that flower of life, we're always looking at it in 2D. If you look at it in 3D, if you expand it and look at it as a sphere instead of something flat, it contains all of those shapes. And it's pretty amazing. So again, if we go back up, these are the zones where, or not that one, this zone is where you're getting crystalline shapes. You're going to get crystalline shapes happening here on the continental plate, and you're going to get crystalline shapes happening from the volcanoes when they erupt, because as it comes out, it has time to cool and make itself nice and orderly. So these shapes are a healthy, vibrant life resonance highway of information. That's what they carry. They carry the energy of vibrant, healthy life. And they are that representation of the earth grid as our own. So they are also showing us our grid. So this was one of the pieces that came through where I by the time I got to the end of it, I'm like, oh, you know, we are definitely earth beings. We are made like she is made. And that connection between prime source and earth is what keeps us happy and healthy. And it also keeps the earth healthy. And there is, well, we're going to do a meditation at the end, but there's a meditation that I like to do that that helps me feed the earth grid. And when we feed the earth grid, so not only do we do that connection above and below so that we're connected and bringing that energy up and down like the way Leisha taught us, there's a connection that we need to make to the grid, and we feed that energy to the grid. And when we do that earth grid sends us back. So whatever we're sending to her, she will send us back, 10 times what we send. And it needs to be fed right now with higher vibrational energy, because she's transforming and we're transforming, and we need to help each other. We need to say, okay, my turn to lift you up. And then earth goes, okay, my turn to lift you up. And that's a normal way to be. And this is one of the things that I have started doing. And ever since I did that, I have even more trust in my life and more resources coming to me.
Crystalline shapes.
Yes.
You're saying that it carries health and vibrancy.
Yes.
And I'm assuming different shapes carry different signatures.
They do.
And that's what people are working with when they work with crystals,
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And
okay.
that information from crystals can, the information that provides health can come through in a lot of different ways. It could be wisdom and knowledge that you need. It could be just like opening the portal in yourself to receive the energy that crystal has. And the different shapes, and are going to carry different things. We just don't have time to look at it. But what I would encourage that we all tap into these things. So there's going to be an opportunity at the end when we do our meditation.
Okay.
We're going to be able to get in touch with our soil mate. So
I love it.
I know. So we're going to do all the connecting stuff, connect with the earth grid, feed the grid, and then meditate on our soil mate.
Okay, so let me ask a really bizarre question about soil mate.
The soil mate.
Is it regional? So if you moved, you would have a new mate, or does it go with you? Is it energetic?
Yeah, I don't think that we're bound to only one. It's going to be whatever presents itself to you when we do the meditation.
Okay.
And it can change over time, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So now, here's what I was trying to describe to you. I actually forgot that I put these up here. That's pretty awesome. So this is, I know, yay me. This is a crystal with, this is a mineral with actual crystalline structure. It's quartz. And this is what it looks like when things are amorphous. There's just no order to things. So this is atoms all lined up in a crystalline structure. And just depending on what the atoms are, it pulls it one way or the other. If they're a lot smaller than what's on the, around them, the way they're showing this, it's going to pull them in one direction or another. So everything is not always a cube. And then when it's amorphous, this is what it looks like. It's the same bunch of atoms, just all, disconnected from each other. So the actual spiritual meaning of this, I wrote a lot of notes about this. I have my notes here so that I don't want to forget anything. So there's chaos in that, but when you return to chaos, it allows room for something new to come into being, and that's what the earth is doing when she creates these amorphous locations. And so far, there are only a few zones where this happens. It happens at earthquake zones, at fault lines, because of the heat and pressure. And it can also happen due to fire. So things have been burning really hot here in California, and when it burns hot like that, the top layer of the soil, the minerals there can be melted, and then they don't go back to their mineral structure. They just they cool too quickly, I guess. But this is what I've heard and been reading about, is that it does create some amorphous minerals happening at the surface after the really hot fire. And right now, the earth is bringing that type of opportunity to us and to her. So it's working both ways. So she is, she's creating a door that we get to walk through energetically, a door that we get to walk through into something new. And many of us are not really embracing that. It's putting us into a fear type of energy, instead of going, oh, hey, from chaos comes order, and it can look like something different than what was there before. So some of us are definitely embracing that, and we're moving through it, and we're doing just fine with it. Or we're a little bit challenged, but we're up for the challenge. So what the information that I was getting is that this is working two ways. It's working, both ways. So enough of us were ready for it that the earth was able to bring more of this amorphous energy in as she ascends. And that's helping us who are actually ready to ascend also. But enough of us were also ascending to make that happen. So there was this cool synergistic duality with it that is making it happen faster than if we were not doing this together. So we are doing this together with the earth, and the more we stay connected in with her, the easier it's going to be for all of us. And then the cool thing is, those of us who have an understanding of what's going on, we get to share and help others. Our vibration comes up, and then of course the people around us are in that, and it helps bring their vibration up, and it helps bring awareness to them. So that's what's going on with that amorphous energy. And I guess that's why I hadn't even thought of this until now. I guess that's why so much change happens on the edges, where there's edge, there's more change. And right now, what the edges are, that's where the Pacific plate, or I don't know what the plate is called over there on the Atlantic side, but ours is called the Pacific plate, where it meets with our continental plate. that's, you know, California is a place of progressive thought and change, and has been for, you know, throughout history. So, you know, I know a lot about my location, and I would encourage both of you to look at what are the energies of yours. When we get into water next week, there's going to be some interesting information there, because Julie, you've got the lakes and the Atlantic Ocean. While ocean energy is all very similar, the Atlantic's a lot different from the Pacific, so I'm excited about that. So there's a little sneak peek at water. But this is everything on what those amorphous minerals mean. So are there any questions on this? Okay.
I think so.
Okay. All right. So this is what's going on in the ground. So this is the life in the ground. And we have our plants here. They bring in, let's see, I got to move you two around again. Oh, there we go. All right. So the plants bring in carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. And once it gets inside their little bodies, they turn that into sugar. So some of the sugar they keep for themselves, but a lot of it they send into the ground, and it comes out through their roots. So what I have represented here is this square right here is the root zone, and that's what all of this is. So this is the blown up representation of what's going on inside the root zone. So, are you laughing at my gopher? I hate gophers. I try not to hate gophers. I try to find what's good about a gopher.
It's probably the same relationship I have with fire ants.
Right? Yeah. So I know. I had to put it in there. And then everybody asked me, how do you deal with gophers? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out myself. Anyhow, this is the soil food web in the root zone here. So the plants are in charge. The plants are in charge of everything. They know what they need, and they communicate with the life that's in the ground, and they get what they need from that life. So they feed them all those nice sugar snacks, and that it goes primarily to bacteria. So here is my little bacteria. And bacteria are fed upon by protozoa, by nematodes, and I think that's everything for them. Sometimes it looks like I have that also microarthropods will eat them. And then the protozoa are fed on by nematodes. The microarthropods also eat the fungi. And the nematodes will eat the fungi. And then the nematodes will eat each other. And then some nematodes will eat on your plant root. So it's really totally a dog-eat-dog world in the soil. Everybody's eating each other. That's why they call it a food web as opposed to a food chain. So let's go to, yeah, I've mentioned this. Number 3, sugars feed the life in the soil, creating a thriving micro community. And in return for the sugar snacks, the soil life brings nutrients to the plants, protects them from disease, and builds pore space for water storage and plant uptake. So the way this works is bacteria, they carry a lot of nitrogen. And when one of these critters, like the protozoa or the nematode, eats a bacteria, they don't need all that nitrogen. So it all comes out in their poop, right? And then that becomes plant available. So the plants will draw that up from, in the root zone. Also, the fungal network, even though I'm only showing these tiny little pieces here, this is what they look like. They are throughout the root zone. They're all over in here. And they run very deep down into the soil profile. And some of them like to burrow into the plant root, and it's a symbiotic relationship. So they've burrowed into the plant root, and the plant says, I got a lot of nitrogen coming from these bacteria that are being eaten by the other critters that then make it for me, but I need what's known as micronutrients also. Things like boron, magnesium, potassium, phosphorus. They need those things. And the fungal network is a nutrient highway for the plant. They bring these minerals to the plant and put it in through the root zone, and then the plant is vibrant and healthy. So when you have all of this stuff working together, then you can grow a really healthy plant. And if you are creating a garden, your plants are going to taste better because they're full of all those nutrients that we need. Plus, these bacteria make certain amino acids that the plant takes up, and then those are things that we need. So just as sort of an aside, that's why using insecticides doesn't help things. It doesn't help the plant. It kills all of the stuff that's in all of this life that's in here. And instead of growing back the healthy ones, the pests will grow back. So this all happens in a nice, fluffy, oxygenated soil. All of this good stuff happens.
Okay, I got a question.
Okay.
Okay, so we talked last time about bacteria versus fungal and the type of plants it supports.
Right.
So if you're having more of a vegetable garden, then there's more bacteria in the soil than fungal, or is there always kind of a balance?
There's for a vegetable garden, it's about half and half. If you have like primarily prairie grasses, then it's more bacteria than fungi. If you have what we call weeds, because the weeds are the first responders, right? So when you start with a bare soil, it's going to grow back what we call weeds first. So for me out here, it's mallow and dandelions. And I don't know what it might be where you are, like the first thing that would grow back if you totally cleared a soil of all of its life. But those things, then you've got like way more bacteria. You might only have bacteria and no fungi at all. So the vegetable garden type plants, they still like, when we say bacterially dominated, it's still almost half and half for that. You still need the fungi in there. And the fungi is going to be present because it's going to be in leaf litter and, all this decaying matter that if you have that on your yard, it's going to be there. It loves that stuff.
Okay.
Okay, so is there anything else I need to say about that? As far as the science part, I don't think so. Just that this kind of life is in a well-oxygenated soil environment. If you have, we talked about compaction last time, if it's compacted, there's no room for air. Mm-hmm. What you're going to grow is pest bacteria, pest protozoa, pest nematodes, pest fungi. So there are anaerobic forms of each of these things that are not good for your plant. They will devour any plant you try to put in there. and they don't try to protect the plant. They just want to eat the plant.
Okay, so that would be why the plants that grow change so much when we have a lot of rain, because the water is taking the place of the oxygen?
Actually, well, what I have experienced when it rains here is my plants grow faster because they need water in their bodies and they're receiving a lot of it, so they can grow faster. If it stays waterlogged, then yes, you're going to create a lack of oxygen. But if you have good pore space, then the water is going to continue to percolate down and keep going further and further down, and eventually, like around the root zone, it'll infiltrate on past it, so that you don't create this permanent anaerobic situation where you could breed pest, bacteria, and protozoa, etc. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay. So this, in a nutshell, what the soil life is showing us is that we need a community if we're going to be strong and healthy. And for humans, not only do we need to be a community with ourselves, amongst each other, we need our community on the inside too. And I'm talking about our physical community. We need our own bacteria and fungi in our gut. These are the things that help us with our immune system. The bacteria communicate with our immune system and tell us, which genes to turn on or off. So a lot of the problems, as I see it, with autoimmune stuff these days, it seems like everybody's got an autoimmune issue. It's because we have been poisoning ourselves with the pesticides that are used. It's killing everything. And the Roundup, the glyphosate that's in Roundup is water soluble, so it's really easy for us to absorb it. And it absorbs into any type of life because water is in all life. So we really need to eat more probiotics. And the plants are stressed without that soil life. We're stressed without it. And that's why we get, there's an emotional shift for us when we all of a sudden get our gut biota to what it should be. If we are full of like, one of the things that happens is we eat a lot of sugar sometimes, and then it promotes the growth of yeast internally, and that stuff, it wants more sugar, and it will make you want it. It will make you want it. And if you don't get it, you end up going through sort of a withdrawal. And there's an emotional response to that, having, being full of out of balance bacteria, because it's in charge. It's making you feel things and do things to help your feelings. So basically, what the soil food web is showing us is that there's really no organism too small to be an important cog in the wheel, and we need to get back to that collective also, and be part of that collective. So let me just see. Just want to make sure I didn't talked about that. Yeah, I think I covered everything, all the messages that I got about that. Do either of you have anything to add, or anything that you want to ask? Okay. So now we're gonna do our connecting meditation and find our soil mate. I don't know why I find that so funny. I'm going to show you in this meditation. First, I'm going to show you how I connect with the earth grid. And then from there, we'll dive into the ground. We'll go on a little journey underground and find out who wants to talk to us. So if you are both ready, if you're comfortable, you can go ahead and close your eyes and breathe from the center of your heart. Use your heart lung to breathe in and out. And allow your heart light to expand each time you breathe. It expands out to encompass your whole heart and your body. And as far out as you would like for it to go. You can expand it around the entire world if you'd like. And as that expansion occurs, a spiral begins to take form, moving in a clockwise direction from the center of your heart. And that spiral also expands out along with your heart light. And then from here, ask for Divine Masculine, Great Father, to come into your heart space from the top of your crown. And then ask for Divine Feminine or Great Mother to come in from your root chakra, so that the three of you are now in your heart space. You, Great Father, Great Mother, creating a unified heart space. And this is the connection that helps to feed the Earth's core that we all three have already learned and we practice. And then from here, there is another location in your heart that's called the high heart. And this is a portal. This is a portal from your physical heart, from where the spirals are coming from right now, to the universe, spirit, the energy that's in the high heart. And that's where things pour in from outside, from the earth grid. So place your awareness in that high heart, and you might see it like a shower of light coming in, or could be a sound like a waterfall. And in that portal space where you are right now in the high heart, you are connected to the Earth's grid. And the Earth's grid it carries the shape of a hexagon, and they are all connected. So it's a repeating crystalline structure of hexagons. And from your unified heart space, where you and Divine Masculine and Feminine, Great Mother, Great Father, where you are there in that connection that's feeding us and feeding the earth, you can send that energy up through your high heart to the earth grid. So go ahead and send that energy now. And when you do that, if you haven't already felt this, you may feel a wash, a wave of energy coming back at you. or you might see it in a visualization. And you can do this anytime you want on your own. You can create that connection. And in creating this connection and feeding the grid, it helps us be better co-creators, because that earth grid will send back to us everything that we send to it, only more. So this will continue as we move on. This will continue with the exchange of energy between us and the earth grid. And be in the earth grid now. See yourself in it. You're in it. You're swimming in it. And as you swim in it, you're able to dive down into the soil. There is like a portal for you. You might see it like a hole in a tree or a hole in the ground, or maybe you're just there. There's a portal for you, and you just go right through that portal into the earth, into her energy. And while you're here, you're able to move through and around the plant roots, through all the gopher tunnels. You can see the bacteria, you can see the soil structure, you can see the minerals that are here, you can see the rocks, you can see the fungi, the protozoa. And you find a place where you settle in and sit down. And while you're here, you're able to look around. You're microscopic now, like so many of the other things in the ground. And as you look around, something comes into your visual zone that you can see in, where you're sitting. And that is your soil mate. And it can be anything. It can be anything. So even if it's not something that we talked about today, it's what you are meant to be talking to right now. So reach out and receive it. Ask it if it would like to come back with you so that you can learn from it. And as the two of you get acquainted, you begin to rise back up. You pass through the earth grid, down into your own high heart, into your heart center, where we ask for the divine masculine and feminine, Great Father and Great Mother, to now please detach from our unified heart space so that it's just our own internal masculine and feminine in that heart space now. And you've come back with your gift from the soil. And you're coming back into your body. And you can open your eyes when you're ready. Hmm. Well, I got a soil mate. What did you guys get?
But can you hear me, Amanda?
Yes, I can.
Okay. It's funny. What came to my mind's eye, which is usually how it happens, is like a little soil nymph or little soil fairy.
Cool.
And she, whatever, didn't want to come with me. Was perfectly fine with me coming back and hanging out, but wasn't really particularly interested in leaving the soil.
How fun. Did you get something, Marty?
I don't know. I think I'm going to have to listen to it again because I
Yeah.
kept drifting in and out. I've been doing a lot of work today, so I think I'm exhausted. Not physical work. And but the thing that I was left with when you were saying, you're telling us to come out of it and everything like that. All of a sudden, this little grain of sand appeared.
Oh, okay.
So, so it may have something to do with that. I'll just feel like I'm really glad you're going to be posting this so that I can work
Right.
with it again.
Yeah, and plus then your homework is going to be to
Homework?
Yeah.
Did I sound outraged enough?
Yeah, there's some homework. Your homework is going to be to connect with those energies again and actually ask deeper questions. So this meditation was to help you see how to really get good co-creative connection, and then to find the soil mate, and then now it's yours to connect with and learn from, and you can ask specific questions like I think I listed them over here and I took away the share. So it's what is your physical function, what is your metaphysical function, and what do I need to learn from you? And that is up on the last slide of the slideshow. So but you can go back and look at that if you want, but you can also come up with your own questions. I mean, just asking what am I supposed to learn from you is going to open up a lot of things.
So I have some questions.
Okay.
If you got, is now a good time?
Yeah. And I have time, but no, of course, anybody else who needs to go, if you need to go, then just know, just for next time, what we're going to be doing is looking at the information that we get. So now we're not doing new stuff on next time. We're going to be talking about what kinds of information we got from our meditations, what else came up, sharing on that, and then working with the cards. So we'll start working with the cards. So next time is sort of like, this is the science class time, and next time is like study hall.
Or lab.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, one of the things I loved about the meditation was the idea of the hexagons, because it ties into so many other things. And I've got several rubies because I just fell in love with them that are in the shape of a hexagon. They say that particular shape of ruby is a lot of times out of India. But so that was exciting to me. And then when you were talking about gut stuff, do you have a good book you can recommend on fast?
On fast, for
on fasting.
On fasting. I don't.
Okay.
That's an interesting question. I have read about fasting, but I have not found a book on it. I've read stuff just that I've Googled.
Okay, well, I keep getting that, so that may be what I just need to do.
Yeah.
And Marty,
Yeah.
If I can remember, which that's a big if always, when I'll try to put it in my calendar or something, when I see my chiropractor who's really number one, very intuitive, very talented, and has a lot of information. I will ask her,
Okay,
because anything that she would say, I would totally trust um, to be something that would be worth your while.
okay,
And I
cool.
know she's into intermittent fasting some too, so I'll put that in my calendar and try to remind myself to do that. And if I get anything, I'll let you know.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
I'd
appreciate it.
be interested in that too. The what I know about fasting is that I've used it to help heal myself because I know that if you fast long enough, it causes a reset in your entire immune system and promotes new production of T cells and um, oh gosh, what are what are those cells called? Those cells that I've been doing this lately. Like I can't remember words. There are those cells, those brand new fresh ones that are supposed to be in the umbilical cord that you want to make sure goes into the baby. Those cells. It promotes production
Stem
of
cells?
stem cells. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. So that's what I know about fasting. That's what I've read about, and I would love to learn some more.
Yeah, I know there's all different kinds of fast. And, I've been guided to start one in early January, but not what kind. So I'm
Right.
just trying to gather information. And I guess Google will be a good place, and whatever you can find out, Julie, would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. I put it in my calendar. Hopefully it will remind me when I'm there.
Well, I know that for promoting the production of new T cells and stem cells, it has to be a water fast. There
Hmm.
can't be any food. You just get water. But yeah, that might not be the fast for you. It might be something else.
Or it might be something I have to work too.
Mhm.
I can see now, the more information I get, the more I need to talk with my guides and go, okay, give me a little direction here.
Mhm. Yeah. Any
So
other questions?
I don't think I have any.
Okay. Was that the extent of your questions, Marty?
I think so. Yeah, for right now. I may have more next time.
Yeah, and then
Um,
also post them now that we have the group. Post them in there.
okay, okay,
And also, you everybody gets the 30-minute card reading with me, and we need to start scheduling those.
okay,
I will. I'll post a schedule in there too for when you can book appointments.
okay.
Okay.
Just for information, next one, um, I'm going to have to leave right at the end because
Okay.
I've had something else planned. And then the one on Saturday, the 29th,
Hmm.
is just no way. I'm going to be at my sister's with 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm gonna be at my mom and dad's, but I'm gonna sneak off into a room by myself.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to make that one either.
Do we want to
Maybe reschedule or
do it
something?
on a different day? Because if Jenny is not back yet and she's not going to make it that day, I can record it and you all can watch it later, or we could talk about doing it on a different day.
I know Jenny won't be back. I don't think she's coming back till January. She has like 3 weeks off of school.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be traveling, but that particular day, I can't sneak off. I've got a baby shower, and then I've got one sister trying to turn the after baby shower into a sister sleepover. So it's going to be, I
Yeah.
can tell, a little chaotic. Um, is that particular one going to be more um, like the one today in the sense of we're learning about an element and then we have homework?
Yep. It's gonna be on water.
So, I mean, how do you feel like, I mean, is it easier for you to have faces to talk to, or are you okay just,
I don't mind just recording it, and making it available for you to watch. And
What do you think, Julie?
You know, I think that'd probably work because my whole, like the whole week, like New Year's and even after that.